Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching Earnings with BQ, and my guest today is Dr. Praveer Sinha, Managing Director and CEO of Tata Power. Dr. Sinha, thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime. To begin with, sir, it's been a good performance from all your segments. So let's start with the generation part of it. Uh, how do you see generation to go ahead, given the fact that Section 11 is in place, and what kind of performance do you see from your generating assets?
Uh, Thank you, Sajid, for having me on the show. Thank you also for the good performance compliments. I think consistently Tata Power has been doing very good. 14th consecutive quarter where we have shown a growth in our PAT. And I think that's the first trend that needs to be monitored and seen. Also, this has been backed by consistent performance from all our businesses. You talked about generation, whether it is our existing coal-based generation plants in Trombay, or it is in Maithon or Durubera, or hydro plants that we have. All of them have done very good, consistent performance. Similarly, our transmission and distribution in Mumbai and Delhi and in Odisha have done very well. We've been able to show a huge improvement in our distribution business in Odisha, and it's actually to be seen, to be believed as to how we have changed in terms of customer service, reliability, as well as the customer experience to the consumers over there. Uh, our renewable business again has done very well. So I think if you look at all our operations have done very well. We of course have the challenge of Mundra where we continue to operate the plant under Section 11 and hopefully it may get extended till the end of the year. But nonetheless, what we are seeing is that Mundra has to find a permanent solution, and there is a lot of interest in discussions with the procurers because it makes sense for everyone because Mundra is one of the low-cost supplier of power, and it also is there in the merit order, so it makes a much more sense for the buyers of power to get supply from Mundra so that the overall cost of power procurement reduces to them. And for us to also to come to an arrangement whereby the arrangement is better than the PPA, so our under recovery is much less.
So, you know, we understand that Section 11 has been imposed by the government, and as a result, all plants have to work on full capacity. And you spoke about Mundra challenge, which is there because in Q4 we saw only one of the units working, and the others were not operational much. And it's so. Do you see this Section 11? To continue for a longer period of time, because we saw that happening towards the end of the year as well, where power demand suddenly surged, and and government had to impose some kind of again Section 11 last year as well. So where is this solution coming in from? Because while you have a merit order which is there for Mundra, your procurers are delaying that supplementary PPA which needs to be signed so that they can take power from your end.
Absolutely right, Sajid, that we need to find a permanent solution. Last year, the Section 11 initially was from 5th May to 30th of September, got extended to 31st October, and then got extended up to 31st December. And as the power demand continues to rise, there is a necessity to operate these imported coal-based plants. Otherwise, with the coal prices at that time, it would have been financially absolutely unviable for any of the imported coal-based plants to operate. Having said that, it is also a fact that Mundra is one of the most efficient plants, and even if under Section 11, it continues to be in a very good shape in terms of merit order. So I think there is a realization on all sides that it makes sense to have a permanent arrangement for Mundra so that we don't have to only fall back on Section 11 period, but have a consistent supply from Mundra through the year. And I am sure that we will be able to come to arrangement which is acceptable to all sides.
Sir, roughly around 14,110 is the current capacity, operational capacity of yours, and nearly 2,600 is under construction or implementation, which takes you to nearly 16,800 megawatts. What is the kind of capex beyond that, and when is this additional capacity going to come in?
So all the projects that that we have the utility scale 2600 megawatt will come up in next 12 to 18 months. They are all under different stages of construction, and we do expect that once they all come up, our capacity will go up to 17,000. Uh, Apart from this, we are also doing large number of group captive projects, which will be about 1,000 megawatt in next 12 to 18 months. So I think we will have adequate generation capacity even in renewable. The objective is that how do we make this much more affordable to the consumer and they can get the benefit of low cost of renewable power. Of course, we are now working on hybrid solutions where we have both solar and wind, as also tie up with storage, pump storage, battery storage, and make it more affordable and 24/7. So number of these solutions are being worked out, and in next 12 to 24 months, you will see some of them getting implemented.
The renewable business received 4,000 odd crores in investments. What is the plan for scaling up of the entire renewable segment?
As I mentioned to you, that this 4,000 will be used for our manufacturing facility of cell and module, where nearly 3,000 crores will be required. And this year we will be spending that money because the construction activity is at full steam, and we expect that the module plant will be ready by September, October, and the cell plant between December and January next year. So we definitely expect that these plants, once they come up, will be able to cater to the local requirement, especially our own requirement of modules, which is required to complete the 2,600 megawatt of our own project. And there's another 1,400 megawatt of third-party EPC we are executing. So we'll have nearly 4 gigawatt of projects which we will complete in next 24 months.
Mm-hmm. How is the EPC business working? Because it did very well in Q4. You're sitting on an order book of nearly 17,000 odd crores, if I'm not wrong. How is that working, and how do you see implementation of that order book going? What is the timeline when this entire order book will be implemented?
That of course includes our own utility scale of 2.6 gigawatt. And we expect that this will continue, considering that Government of India has a very ambitious plan to add 300 gigawatt. Just a month back, the government came up with a plan that they will do 50 gigawatt of bidding in this year, and this will happen every year till the time we meet the 300 gigawatt requirement. So I think we'll have a lot of opportunity, but as you know that in Tata Power we are very conscious that these projects have to be implemented with good margin, and we will be very careful and calibrated in the type of projects that we take, so that our margins are protected and we are able to implement them successfully.
Mr. Sinha, the 50 gigawatt target is, don't you think it's very ambitious? Because last year we were only able to do 16.5 gigawatt.
I agree with you, it's an ambitious target, but I think if you look at what we have been able to achieve in last 6 years, it's been phenomenal. No one anticipated that we will have a 60 gigawatt of solar coming up in such a short period of time. Having learned from that, I think we are now ready to leapfrog to the next level, where we will target to implement 50 gigawatt going forward per year. Then only we will be able to achieve this 300 gigawatt target. But there may be very many roadblocks in terms of supply chain, in terms of land, in terms of PPA arrangement. But once you set a target, then there is something to aspire for. And I'm very confident and bullish about the opportunity. And we'll work towards that.
Not just that, I think the supply side is also an issue, right? Because modules and cells locally are, I mean, the capacity is not enough to, cater to 50 gigawatt. Eventually, we may be reaching out to that level, but not in the immediate 12 to 18 months.
I agree with you that 50 gigawatt total manufacturing capacity may take about 3 years to 4 years time. But now whatever gets implemented on a staggered basis, we can utilize the manufacturing from India. And whatever is not there, we will continue to import from ASEAN countries, from other countries, neighboring countries. So I think that sort of stopgap arrangement has to be looked into. But this is something that when you are implementing such large quantities, you will have to take it as a part of your business plan.
Mhm. In your transmission and distribution business, Odisha had performed very well. Your losses came down to 30 odd percent. Do you see enough room to bring it down further?
Yeah, in fact, when we took over, they were in the 35 to 40% range, considering that COVID had just started and the collection efficiencies were down. Last year, we have been able to improve both the billing efficiency and collection efficiency. We've been also able to clean up a lot of data, and hopefully next year you will start seeing the good results of whatever we have done. So the full benefit of Odisha discoms will start getting reflected in FY24 onwards. And we've already come to a level of around 20-22% AT&C loss, and we definitely will go down to a level of around 10% in next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the Mumbai operations doing, Mr. Sinha?
Mumbai operations is doing very well. We not only supply the normal electricity, but we have got more than 20,000 consumers who've gone into green energy, and we are able to cater to their requirement and give them the green certificate of the renewable power that we have tied up and we supply to them. So I think Mumbai operations have stabilized, and the quality of service that we offer to our consumers, they like it very much. We give a lot of value-added services also to them, and it will only keep on improving as we move forward.
Do you see any impact of tariff hikes for FY24 and 25 for Mumbai? Because after the recent announcement of tariffs, your tariffs are much higher by 15 to 25% over your competitor. Do you see some kind of a churn happening in your customer because of this kind of higher tariff?
I don't see any churn happening because what happens is there is something known as the fuel surcharge or the power purchase adjustment. And what we have seen is that when the regulator fixes up, he takes the trend of the previous year, not what has happened in the recent past. In the recent past, in the last 6 months, tariffs have come down, the procurement cost has come down because the imported coal prices have come down, and the benefit of that will get passed on to the consumers by way of lower tariffs. So I think on net to net basis, there will be very small difference between us and the other distribution companies in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm. If I look at your net zero target, which is you have for 2045, but then you're looking at 100% of green electricity, which is there. How do you look at your existing thermal plants? I understand that not many new plants may be coming in because every new project would be in the green space. But how do you make them net carbon neutral going forward?
So our plan is by 2045, most of the coal-based plants have PPAs which would have completed or their useful life would be over. And that's why we are very confident that we'll meet the 2045 deadline. We are in any case not doing any fresh investment in any new coal-based plant. So, and the existing PPAs will get over by then. So we will definitely meet the target.
So, if the PPAs get over, are you suggesting that these plants will be shuttered and you will be fully?
Yeah, that's the plan. That once the existing PPAs are over, it may spill over by a year or two for the transitioning. But otherwise, we have all intentions to decommission the plants after their useful life and the PPA gets over.
Does the timeline go? Because you have roughly 8,800 megawatts in 8.8 gigawatts of thermal power, and that's a huge amount of your portfolio. And when will you be able to scale up your renewable to that extent to compensate for that portfolio that will be shuttered?
Absolutely. In fact, our renewable growth plans are much aggressive, and we'll reach that level much earlier than what we have planned now.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime.
Thank you.